So today there is a lot of news regarding the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So I decided to split the news videos up with the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view news being in one video and everything else being in another, as I'm judging the Elimination Chamber news as potential WrestleMania plans, because after Elimination Chamber, there is nothing in between us and April 1st and April 2nd in Hollywood for WrestleMania. But with that being said, let's get into the news, as WWE has announced that on August 5th of this year, WWE makes their return to Michigan. It is the first WWE event to be held at Ford's Field in Michigan since WrestleMania in 2007. Ford Field will host SummerSlam this year, and it is the first time in 30 years that SummerSlam will be held within the state lines of Michigan. So it is planned for WWE is clearly planning for a huge SummerSlam event this year, with Ford's Field being the host arena for SummerSlam. And I will point out that also it's clear that WWE is going in a different direction, because last year Allegiant Stadium was the plan for Money in the Bank, and this year they are maybe realizing that SummerSlam is capable for a stadium, but a pay-per-view like Money in the Bank, no offense to Money in the Bank, but a pay-per-view like Money in the Bank may not be capable to hold the same credibility and the same fandom as SummerSlam would. By that I mean, people ain't gonna shell out to go to a stadium to watch Money in the Bank like they would for SummerSlam. So that is, I mean, in my opinion, that's something unexpected, but it's good to hear. It's good to hear. It's good news for WWE. We will get to information about the sale or potential sale of WWE in this video later, a little bit later, but there is other news to get to first, so we're going to get to that before we jump in and look to the potential sale. And that is the Maximum Male Models, Mansoor and Mansoor. No. I forget what Mace's name is. I honestly forget what Mace's name is in... Well, it's the Maximum Male Models. They're on Raw now. Because Mansoor is Mansoor. But it is Maxine Dupree, Mansoor, and Mace are on Raw now, signing contracts to make the move over to Raw. And apparently, they're going to be feuding with Otis, trying to court him into the Maximum Male Models. I would like that only because it would give Alpha Academy the opportunity to gain some wins and to be taken a little bit more seriously. Because the one thing I would say about Alpha Academy is it's not that they weren't taken seriously, it's that every time you saw them, they were the one taking the fall. So giving them the opportunity to get a little bit of wins here, there, and sometimes against the Maximum Male Models would be something fantastic, because, well, I like Otis and I like Chad Gable. I really like Chad Gable, and I think that they deserve a lot better than they've been getting. Also, Zack Ryder announced that he tried to get the Zack Ryder trademark, but was denied. I didn't really look too much into it because, well, I mean, the story's there with Zack Ryder saying he was denied. So, there really isn't much to look into it, but I doubt that that is the reason why he did not return to WWE. I think his status in the NWA, like I said, his status in the NWA is the reason why. And also, speaking of Zack Ryder, and one of the reasons why I actually kept this story in is because tonight, Zack Ryder and Tyrus captain two sides of a six-man tag team match. Team Cardona versus Team Tyrus. The winning team decides the stipulation for the world title match this weekend on February the 11th at NWA Nuff Said, when Tyrus defends Sweet Charlotte against the former champion who never lost the title in Matt Cardona. But now, before we go, I just want to mention about the potential sale of WWE, as Tony Khan is very interested in the potential sale of WWE, and is under the impression that his purchasing power may not be as powerful as some other potential suitors because of his status in the wrestling business. And I think that he should be considered, but that I agree with the guys at Cultaholic when they say that Tony Khan buying WWE would be terrible for business because it would give the business another monopoly. But one interesting note is, according to, I believe, a CNBC article, that Vince's presence within the company and desire to be a part of the sale and direct the sale has been an early sticking point with potential suitors. I don't know if it's because of the lawsuits. I don't know if it was because of what happened last year. But what I'm chalking it up to is Vince's presence in general within the company and desire to possibly be a part of the new WWE after the sale. It's hampering potential. It is a sticking point for potential suitors for WWE, because there are companies that don't want to associate with Vince McMahon. Yes, this goes back to the report from last week, where we talked about Vince being willing to step down from WWE and leave the company if it helps the company with a sale and foster a sale. I mean, in my opinion, I believe it when I see it, but if Vince is that willing, and if Nick Khan is not yanking our chain, then that's a good thing. And that should be something that a company writes into the potential deal, in my opinion. I still think that either Disney or Comcast are the likely place for WWE to land. But again, it is still too early for us to know, and I think there's a possibility that some of this news could be thrown out there to ward us off potential suitors and ward us off a potential sale, so we're more surprised when it does happen. But that is just me. With that being said, though, I will be back with another news video, as we have a lot of Elimination Chamber news to get to, so let's stay tuned for that, and I'll see you soon.